Hey Joe, can you hear me?
Hi, Sebastian. I certainly can. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Excellent. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So, are you coming out of Montreal?
Actually, I am from a suburb of Montreal,
Okay.
but the thing is, I present myself as being a drummer from Montreal because that's where all of my musical practices are, and like this is where most of the musicians of this project are living. So, like, I prefer presenting it as the Montreal project.
Okay. Right on. Well, hey man, it's great to meet you. I appreciate you taking a minute out. And what I'd like to do first and foremost, before we get into the new album and project, is that find out how did you get through COVID and how relieving is this album coming out now that the world's waking up?
Well, the thing about COVID is that it blocked so many opportunities for emerging musicians that arrived at a really weird time. I was like in the middle of my university studies, and like also for all of the other musicians, they also were music students, I should say. So like the opportunities weren't that big. So the thing that happened was I had a school project. Um, I initially wanted to make like something minimalistic for an existing film, but I decided, wait a minute, big band would be so interesting. So I assembled everyone recordings together. I wrote the score for all the parts. They submitted me all their recordings, and that's the work. That's how Grand Sainte Marie started.
So, how relieving is it to have new music out with the world waking up, the possibility of live shows? Is there a level of this where you feel like you're back at it and you're, hitting the ground running?
It's been a while since I've been back at it, really. The only thing that was really delaying the album in some sorts was uh, all of the other like uh, connected things that I did for the first time. For example, communicating with a mixer, a mastering engineer, a cover artist, a publicist. That's how you've heard of me. It's through Orange Grove. And so like it was so many new things for me to learn all at once.
So, was there any part of you while you were in school and this pandemic happened, you're going into an industry that's uncertain? Was there any part of you that was like, maybe I should do something else? Or has it been 100%, let's go, let's be a musician?
Well, it's been 100% sure. However, I worked some odd jobs like to get, not necessarily to get by because I'm pretty comfortable right now. I'm living with my parents, but um, I, uh, I just wanted to save up. So like now that I have a music job, I am now a music school private teacher for drums. It feels really good to have some kind of my income being a musician's income.
So, how did this journey begin for you? What were some of the early influences? Why did you pick the drums, jazz? How did this happen?
Um, j- Jazz came a little bit later. I was really initially into rock. I started playing the drums when I was 10 years old, and like back in my day, we had a rock band. So like I played all the songs on Rock Band, and I followed drum classes pretty intensely, and like the passion continued in high school, um, where I played mostly classical percussion, but I did some jazz and some musicals and some rock on the side. It's just that it was a classical program. The jazz composition and arranging aspect came from me later on because I studied at Cégep. Do you know what a Cégep is?
No.
It's an establishment for that is only based in Quebec. So basically, like, it's basically the last year of high school for most of Canada and the US, and the first year of university
Okay.
for all the other regions. You know, that's why in most universities, instead of 4 years, like you guys do, we have 3.
Okay. Interesting.
It is really interesting, but I did an extra year because there was some technical programs, which are programs designed for you to be able to try to make it in the job world. But as you might know, music is such a tough field because there are so many people who want to do that. So I said to myself, my compositional journey, how could I make this a bit different from, not just a bit different from everybody else? What is the thing that allows me to exert the best possible compositional process?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I decided to go with big band because it allowed me to like express fully musically what I wanted to achieve.
So what was the first live show that you ever saw that really inspired you, that made you think, man, I love this, or I want to do it someday?
That's a really good question. Because I saw so many shows. Um, I mean, the first show that truly inspired me, or in reality, there was 2. There was a Sting concert in Quebec City, and there was a Bon Jovi concert in Montreal.
Wow.
Far from jazz, but like those were my first I should say big concert experiences.
So in all of these things that you do as a musician and even as an instructor and educator, what is it that you look forward to the most? Every day you wake up, you live this life as a musician. What do you look forward to? What fuels you?
Well, what fuels me depends on the day because every day is different, right? So like, in order to be a musician, you can't just say, oh, I'm a music teacher, or oh, I'm a composer, or oh, I'm playing in bands accompanying people. You know, that's not how it works. You need to what fuels me is learning as many skills as possible so that I can um, pick up something that is really deciding itself to be the thing that I'm good at, you know? That's
So,
what truly inspires me.
yeah. So in this project here, what are you hoping the listener gets from it?
I'm hoping they get like a diverse album. Like, I'm hoping that everybody gets something that not only they like, but I hope also that um, they find it rewarding to listen to, you know, where it's not just an album where it's a one and done, you know,
Yeah.
because my music is very layered.
Yeah. So if you could go back in time and catch a big band, where would you go?
Oh, great question. I think I might have to go with um like, it's so hard because there were so many good big bands back in the day. I think I'll get probably Miles. It's not a big band per se, but I'll get probably like Miles Davis's orchestra in the Miles Ahead, Porgy and Bess era. That kind of big band was so like descriptive and like subtle and nuanced, because often in big bands it's very punchy, and it works in some contexts, but I just feel like for a truly rewarding experience you need to be overwhelmed by the senses.
So let's say you come to Kansas City, you put on a live show, you have to convince people to come see you. How would you explain a live show? How would you convince people in Kansas City to come to a venue to see you live?
I would say that my music is not just jazz, it offers so many things. Like you see shades of rock, neo soul, you see shades of like trap, even. Like it's very diverse. I'm sure everybody will get something from it. That's how I see it. However, in Kansas City, it's way harder to convince people than in Montreal, because Montreal is such a great place for emerging artists. So, like, if you're a nobody in Kansas City, you'll have a harder time making it than in Montreal.
Yeah. So why do you love jazz?
I love jazz because it's such like it's a good spice that you have to get used to. It's not something that is usually like a first taste and you love it so much kind of music. I find something rewarding about jazz through every listen that I get.
So everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, fans, but you ultimately live your life. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I am somebody who just tries to be uh, good in as many things that I can possibly be. And I try to live my life in the way that I just want to live it. That's a very abstract question.
Well, you answered it. Yeah, it's you totally got to it for sure. If anyone out there wants to pick up the brand new album, learn more about any live shows, anything pertaining to your world, where's the best place for them to go?
Um, I have a show at in Montreal at Petit Campus. It's on June the 4th. And if you want to pick up the album's available on June the 2nd in all platforms, on the Spotify, name it, And if there are some people interested, like in CD copies, I might I have some CD copies, but I'll just try to make as many not things, but sorry for the silence.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to have the interface, if that's the right word, in place for people to buy them.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool, man. This has been great. Hey, thank you for opening up. Thanks for your time. Best of luck with the album and as your career moves forward. This has been wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Joe. Have a good one.
You too. And before you go, I'd love to keep you in front of my audience. Would you mind doing a plug, introducing yourself, drummer coming out of Montreal, and you're listening to my album on Neon Jazz with Joe Domino, saying that, and then I'll put it on the show?
No problem. So my name is Sébastien Parent. I am a drummer from Montreal, Canada, and this is my album called Projet Séparant, which is out on June the 2nd in all platforms. You're listening to Neon Jazz with Joe Domino.
Excellent, man. Hey, thank you again. Best of luck with everything. Great to meet you.
Great to meet you too, Joe. Have
Cheers.
a good one.
You too, man. See ya.